Okay, so I don't often do two episodes within the same day, uh, but man, that Robert Pattinson Batmobile, it was just so disappointing, and it's like I knew I wasn't going to be that crazy about it going into it, and like I said, I think if I use it for my dreadnoughts, it'll be pretty cool, but I was not feeling it, and I had the Pattinson Batman action figure, and if you remember, I threw it across the room because he's lame. I just got so disgusted by it. But I went ahead and fetched it from back across the room because I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And this is something special because this is the 1989 Batmobile. This is what a Batmobile ought to look like, folks. And this is from the Flash movie, which I had intended on seeing, but didn't get around to it because I was kind of broke and didn't have a whole lot of money. And now that I'm starting to get into a position where I'm a little more financially stable and maybe could go see a movie, it's already gone from theaters because apparently nobody watched it. So I had talked to a few people that had seen it and said it was actually pretty good. So I'm hoping when eventually I do get to see it, I enjoy it. But I do believe that this was exclusive to Walmart. That's where I found it. And when I went to look at Amazon to see if it was on there and what kind of price I could get it for on Amazon, it wasn't on Amazon. So yeah, apparently the only way you can get this is at Walmart. And it says figure fits inside, as if it's an exciting bonus feature for an action figure vehicle to actually fit the figures inside. We'll find out if that's more than just a wild boast. If Batman can indeed fit inside his Batmobile, and it comes with two figures because it comes with young Barry, who himself is wearing a variation on a Batman costume. So I think they just kind of make him like a makeshift Batman costume out of one of Keaton's old Batman Returns outfits. And then you have Keaton himself in a slightly more modern bat suit. And if you watched my video on the 12-inch Keaton Batman figure, you already know my opinions on that suit, but we'll probably touch on them a little bit more when we open it up. The back has some nice Photoshop type artwork with Barry and Batman running away from the Batmobile. So I guess Batman just left out of the Batmobile, which, from what I understand, they don't use very much in the movie. You just kind of see it in the Batcave. But I guess the director just really wanted to have that 1989 Batmobile in there. You got the picture again of Keaton sitting in the Batmobile. And these are, like I said, kind of slightly Photoshop figures, but they're posable enough. I figure you could get them into that position if you wanted to. So let's go ahead and open it up. And opening it is going to be kind of tricky. I do like the design they came up with for the packaging of this. It does have a lot of the kind of samey elements of DC packaging these days, like this kind of line that varies in thickness, and of course it's got the newer DC logo, and of course it's got the Flash movie logo because it's from the Flash movie. So, but I do think it's kind of visually interesting, and normally when I talk about these figures and the packaging, I'll bemoan the fact that they tend to like to use the same colors for the characters that was already on their uniforms, and I don't like that because it doesn't stand out as well. But here they actually did a pretty smart thing, which is that they used the yellow on the background for the characters, and since Flash's costume is mostly red and Batman's costume is mostly black, the yellow makes for a pretty good contrast, and I feel like the figures stand out pretty well in this background, along with the Batmobile itself. And this package is not anywhere near as fancy as the package that came with that Robert Pattinson Batmobile. But if you remember how that one was all flopping around anytime I tried to do anything with it, it's also a lot more sturdy. So that package was beat all to hell when I was trying to open it, and this one is still in pretty good shape. And it might be because they kept selling and restocking these Batmobiles. Because I know that I'd see them sold out and be like, oh, well, I guess I missed it. But then I'd see it again and be like, oh, well, I guess I got another chance to get one. So I finally was able to get one. So here we go. It's a very complicated package to open. Makes you long for the good old days when they just have a box you could just open at one end and pull everything out of. But now everything's got to be all like environmentally friendly or whatever. So we got, again, the little tabs that are holding the vehicle in there. And we will take a quick look at the vehicle now that I have it out of the package. And they did not put anywhere near as much effort into this beautiful machine as they put into the Dodge Charger that he drove in the Robert Pattinson movie. So, but it is still, even with that having been said, a much more impressive toy. I mean, here, like I said, to me, that just looks like a Dodge Charger. Nothing special. The silhouette of this vehicle is unmistakably the Batmobile. And when I saw this in 1989 in that first Batman trailer, I was like, holy shit, that's the Batmobile. That's like legit the Batmobile. And before then, remember, all we had was like the Adam West 1966 Batmobile, which is a beautiful Batmobile in its own right. But this thing just looked like it came from another planet. I mean, look at that. This is beautiful. They did such a great job. Like the proportions of it, it's a little small compared to the figures. And like it's about the same length as this thing. And I kind of feel like it should be much longer than this Batmobile. I'm turning it off. I don't even want to hear your noise. Why are you still on? Anyway, so yeah, apparently if you press on the engine, it does stuff. But I thought I had it turned off. What good is the on-off switch if it doesn't turn it on and off? I ask you. So, but this is a bit heavier, probably because it has all the electronics in it. It's got like a harder plastic bottom. This is made out of like the kind of plastic like they'd make the cheap vehicle toys out of when I was a kid. And I don't blame them for that. I actually think that's a smart way to go because the kids can still play with it and it makes the vehicle a little more affordable. Why is this thing still making noise when it's supposed to be turned off? That is the way to turn it off, right? I think I've spent more time talking about that in this review than I did its actual review. But yeah, I kind of don't mind that they cut some corners in terms of cost. Except I don't like this big hole here where the cockpit of the vehicle is. They didn't bother to fill this in with anything, like put any kind of like little, plate over it. That would have been nice. But look at this, the canopy. It actually opens up just like in the movie. And see, I can make my own sound effects. I don't need some kind of electronics in the vehicle to make sound effects. I didn't have that on the 89 Batmobile when I was a kid. Just like that. You just make them yourself. I don't need to have plastic molded fire on there. I can just imagine the fire. That's how we did when I was a kid with a lot of that kind of stuff. It would be nice if the machine guns could pop out of the fenders. I'll say that. I know the Toy Biz one had missile launchers there that actually launched missiles. And then the Kenner one had the machine guns where instead of the panel popping off and the machine gun popping up, you just kind of flipped it around. But you don't want to lose that panel anyway, so it's probably a good thing it didn't pop off. One thing that I notice about this that's different from the '89 Batmobile, and actually brings to mind Joel Schumacher's Batmobile from Batman Forever, is that the axles for this vehicle, they're molded onto the actual body of the vehicle, and then you can see where the wheel kind of clips around it. You can see like the little spaces in there where the clips are. So when the wheel rolls, hopefully you can make it out on the camera. When the wheel rolls, the Batman emblem on there actually stays stationary, which that was not a feature of the Tim Burton Batmobile, but it was a feature, like I said, of the Joel Schumacher Batmobile that I thought was pretty cool. So bringing it into the Burton version, I appreciate that. Now, that having been said, since the whole thing is black, it's not quite as obvious, but I might go in there with like a little bit of silver paint and make that Batmobile hubcap a little more obvious. Speaking of things that could be more obvious, that is what the interior of the vehicle looks like. So again, they didn't get quite as fancy with this one as the Pattinson one, but honestly, they didn't need to. It was going to be a better vehicle anyway, just because it's a better Batmobile that they're working with. But look what they did with the steering wheel. It's just kind of embossed onto the console there. So I do have a 3 3/4 inch Batmobile of the 1966 television series that was made by Funko. So I really like that toy. That's the one that has it has the little plastic thing that rubs against grooves inside of the tire. So when you roll it, it makes that motor sound, like how the Superpowers Batmobile did. It'd been nice if they worked that one onto this. I always like that sort of thing. But this is a pretty cool Batmobile. It's very simple, very basic, like I said, but a kid could still have a lot of fun with this. I think a kid would have more fun with this one than the Robert Pattinson one, even with all the electronic crap they put onto it, just because this is the real Batmobile. This is something a kid would see and be like, wow, that's cool. And the kid would look at the Robert Pattinson one and be like, where's Dominic Toretto? So anyway, as I pointed out, did come with 2 action figures. So let's go ahead and look at those. We will pull out Barry first. So there we go. So from what I understand, and spoilers for the movie, if you haven't seen it yet, and judging by the box office numbers, you haven't. From what I understand, the storyline involves Barry Allen, who is the Flash in the movies, played by a creep. He goes back in time to stop his mother from being killed or something, and that causes the timeline to get all messed up, like in the Flashpoint comics, but it doesn't do the same exact way in the Flashpoint comics. So he winds up meeting himself before he got his powers, or and he's kind of a jackass in that, from what I understand. But he winds up getting the powers anyway, and they kind of modify this Keaton Batman suit, and they make him he winds up becoming the Flash also. But you can see there's lots of nice details to this, both of a Batman suit and a Flash suit. But like they had this yellow kind of caution tape they put him around his waist to be his belt, and he's got these headphones that are supposed to look like the wings. Now, if I had done this, since we already have like the stubs of the bat ears on there anyway, I'd have probably just painted some yellow onto those and extended them from the headphone. This is how I would have done the costume in the movie. I'm talking, not. I know they made it accurate to how it is in the movie, but that's what I would have done different in the movie. And he's got like little short gloves, not like Batman gloves. So I don't know. Part of me kind of wants to get another one of these And I already have a Keaton Batman that I bought on the single card that I haven't gotten around to opening yet. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I'll be right back. So just hang tight. I'm just over here in my chair, digging through stuff that I haven't opened yet. And hopefully in this pile of stuff I haven't opened yet, I have that Keaton Batman figure. Yeah, we'll go ahead and open that while we're at it. While we're at it, we'll go ahead and open this, since it's basically the same figure as what we got with the set. Might even be exactly the same figure. You can see his cape's kind of folded up. So I'll compare those while we do that. But it might be worth me trying to get a second one of these Flash figures and cobbling together with the Keaton Batman figure and making a Batman Returns figure. That might be kind of neat. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get Keaton off of here. And much like Barry, he's just got like the little rubber tabs that are holding him at his wrists and his ankles and his waist. Get that in a better angle. And then last, the one on his waist. There we go. And like the Pattinson figure, his cape was through a little hole in the package, but they used a better fabric for his cape. It's more like the fabric that would have actually been used on Michael Keaton Batman figures back in the 90s, like that type of cape fabric. This is the kind of fabric that I like on capes, not this cheap Christmas ribbon crap that's on Pattinson. And you can see these are not in scale with each other at all. Like, you would think Spin Master would put some effort into having their figures scale with each other. But even with him being like much shorter, and that might actually be true because Keaton ain't actually the tallest guy. He's still a much better looking, more imposing Batman than this guy over here that's wearing hockey pads. So I just wanted to see how ridiculous he looked next to a real Batman. I can throw him back across the room again. All right. So a lot of good details to the suit. Like I said, I've talked a lot about this suit when I did the 12-inch figure review. And if you're interested in hearing my opinions on the suit, I would recommend you go and look at that. He's not even quite as tall as Barry. But like I said, Keaton's like, what, 5'7"? So he's slightly less than average height to begin with. So kind of part of the reason that Tim Burton wanted to cast him as Batman is because he seemed like a guy that would need a bat suit. You know what I mean? So we're going to go ahead and put him aside, and we're going to go ahead and open up the single-carded figure that I never got around to opening, and we will go ahead and compare the two Batmen. And I'm figuring they're pretty much the same figure, since, you know, I don't see any reason they would have done anything wildly different. But Spin Master has a tendency to package the same figure with like multiple vehicles and stuff. Like I noticed that with Black Adam. Like there's a single card Black Adam that's pretty much the same as the Black Adam that comes with the Hawkman jet, which I have and I still need to open, and et cetera, et cetera. So he comes with Batarang, and the strange thing is that's a Ben Affleck Batarang. So like I said, I haven't seen the movie. I don't know if maybe he uses a Batarang that looks like the Ben Affleck Batarang at some point, but he has a Batfleck Batarang. Go figure. And there is his grappling hook launcher, which fans of the 1989 film will definitely recognize. That's the 1989 style Bat grappling hook launcher. It is a little bit different, obviously, because the grappling hook on there is gigantic for one thing, but the basic design is there. It looks pretty much like the same one he used in the 1989 movie. So that would be, I would think, the main difference between these figures is that he comes with some accessories, and the one that came with the Batmobile is his only accessory. But if you've got a Batmobile, do you really need any other accessories? I don't think so. But yeah, the figures themselves look pretty much identical to each other. Both of them, the emblems are pretty sharp. That was something I was careful about, as I wanted to make sure I had some good Batman emblems on my Batman figures. I did not want them to be messed up. The ears are a little bit chunky, but that's kind of to be expected for a figure at this scale. You don't want it to be too spindly and they get bent up. And like I said about the 12-inch figure, I wish they'd given him a yellow utility belt, because I figured that would pop a little bit more. But they did do a good job with this modern style Batman armor. I like the look of it. It still feels very Keaton, but it does feel like he took it up to the next level, as it were. So articulation on this guy, arm rotates all the way around this way, moves up about yay far, elbows can bend about 90 degrees at the front. They rotate all the way around, but since it's that kind of funky ball jointed elbow, they don't bend up quite as far in the opposite direction. But who wants to bend their elbow like that anyway? So that's fine. Legs go up about almost 90 degrees, not quite 90 degrees, but close enough to 90 degrees. Knees bend about 90 degrees. Knees rotate, much like with the elbow. It doesn't go all the way 90 degrees up that way, but that's an unnatural movement, so who cares? He does have a nice thigh swivel, so his thighs rotate all the way around, and he can do the splits no problem. Look at that. That's some Jean-Claude Van Damme worthy splits right there. So who knew that Michael Keaton was so flexible at this advanced age, and especially in a rubber suit? Good for you, Mike. Did you know that Michael Keaton's real name is Michael Douglas, and he had to change it because there was already an actor named Michael Douglas? Yeah, the guy from Romancing the Stone. Yeah, that guy. The guy that married Catherine Zeta-Jones. Lucky bastard. She still looks good too. He played Ant-Man. So one Michael Douglas got to be Ant-Man, and the other one got to be Batman. So who do you think did better of the two Michael Douglases? He was the one who had to change his name. We didn't really talk about Barry's articulation, but it's pretty much the same as Keaton's. Well, let's go over it anyway. His arm actually goes up a little bit further than Keaton that way. His elbow bends about 90 degrees, rotates all the way around. Maybe you would want to break Ezra Miller's elbow. I don't know. So leg goes up about so far. Knee bends a little more than 90 degrees, so that's good. You want to have really good leg articulation on a Flash figure. That's all I'm saying. So even if he does run kind of funny. But let's go ahead and get him into a good running position. Now, he does not have a waist articulation, which I feel like would help with that. But there he is running into battle. So there you go. I do like that in the movie, a lot of this stuff is just kind of spray painted on there. And that gave them the opportunity to actually get a little sloppy with it. And it's okay, because that's what it looked like in the movie. So yeah, that's what young Barry looks like. I honestly don't really care too much about having this figure. Like, I don't really have a problem with this figure necessarily, but it's not one where I'm like, ooh, yeah, I've got to get the young Barry action figure. I wasn't really too excited about any of the Flash figures, personally. I was only really excited about Batman figures from this line. I was really excited about getting new Michael Keaton figures. Even if the movie turned out to be horrible, I was really happy to have new Michael Keaton Batman action figures on the shelves. That was pretty cool to me. I do wish they'd done more Ben Affleck figures, though, because the only Ben Affleck figure I know of, I think it was an exclusive to Target, that came with the Bat Cycle. I only saw it at Target anyway. I think I missed out on that one. I don't think I was able to get that one in time. But let's go ahead. We'll put Keaton into the Batmobile, and man, he fits in there rather loosely. I'm almost thinking maybe they didn't mean to make these figures as small as they did, because, like I said, they're a lot smaller than those the Batman figures. So there we go. He does fit in there just fine. I wonder if a regular Spin Masters Batman figure would fit in here. I'm not going to put Robert Pattinson in the 1989 Batmobile. He does not deserve. He has not earned the honor of sitting in the 1989 Batmobile. I would put Ben Affleck in there. I would put Val Kilmer in there. I would put Christian Bale in there. I would even put George Clooney in there. George Clooney was a better Batman than Robert Pattinson. Like, that's how bad Robert Pattinson was. Is he made me appreciate George Clooney. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go over here where my Spin Master figures are, and I'm going to fetch a Batman. Oh, hey, there's another Batman. That was interesting to see. All right, so I'm going to get the regular comic book Spin Master Batman. And there we got that. And just one more thing if I can find one. All right. And a little extra surprise. A couple little extra surprises. So since you were so kind to be patient with me right there, you've earned a surprise. And not only did I get the regular standard Spin Master Batman in his rebirth costume, but I have the Mattel. They did their DC Multiverse, I believe that line was called. Mattel did their own Michael Keaton Batman, and this is an actual 1989 Batman. He's a little taller than the Spin Master version. I do think that the Spin Master version has a better Keaton likeness on the head, though. So, but this is a much older figure, so the advances in technology might not have been so great. So, does the multiverse, does the Mattel Keaton Batman fit into the Batmobile? Let's find out. So there he is, and he fits in there just fine. So if you're not too impressed with the Spin Master figure, if he's a little small for your liking, and like I said, he does seem like he's a little small, and you have this Batman and you prefer him, he fits in there just fine too. And Mattel never bothered to make him a Batmobile, so now you have a Batmobile for your Mattel 3 3/4 inch Batman if you so choose. You know what we didn't do? We didn't put the grappling hook gun in his hand. So let's go ahead and do that real quick while I'm thinking about it. That's what Keaton looks like with the grappling hook gun in his hand. And here's the Batarang. We can go ahead and put the Batarang in his hand, even though it's the wrong Batarang. But he looks pretty cool with it. All right. And then we have, oops, I knocked over Snake Eyes. Sorry, Snake Eyes. I'll pick you up when I'm done with the review. All right, so then we have the standard Spin Master Batman. If you've got a Spin Master Batman, chances are this is the one that you have, because he's just the basic Batman. He's also the most Batflecky Batman figure that Spin Master has made. He's got that kind of Batfleck sort of bulk to him. He's very Dark Knight Returns. The 12-inch figure does not have this kind of bulk to it. And he's the one that I'm thinking I might have a hard time fitting in here of all the Spin Master figures, since he is so bulky. But no, he went in there just fine. This car's got plenty of leg room. So his cape didn't quite go in right. It's that stupid Christmas ribbon fabric that I don't like. So he fits in there just fine. So really, any 3 3/4 inch Batman figure, I don't see you would have too much of a problem with them. Maybe with the Funko ones, because those have those rubbery capes. But I didn't bother to grab the Funko one while I was over there. But what I did grab is Mattel's Adam West Batman. Now, for those of you who this isn't immediately obvious to, when Mattel made an Adam West Batman in 3 3/4 inch, they didn't base it on the television series. Oh no, this is the skin from the Arkham games. So it's like a bulky Arkham style that design of Batman, but he's wearing the Adam West suit, which to me, again, that's very Frank Miller. It winds up being a very Frank Miller kind of Batman. This is one of my favorite Batman action figures, honestly. I still love this one. This is probably, of all the 3 3/4 inch Batman figures I own, this is probably my favorite. So, of course, I want to see how well he fits into the Batmobile. And there we go. He fit in there just fine. So there we go. So that is 4 different Batmans, 2 of which are Keaton, that we see how well that they fit into this 3 3/4 inch scale Batmobile, which, like I said, I think is actually a little smaller than it would be proportioned in real life, but it's made for kids to play with, so I'm sure they'll be happy with it. So I absolutely recommend this if you can find one at your local Walmart, because I do believe it is exclusive to Walmart. I could be mistaken about that, but it's the only place that I've seen it at. It's a beautiful rendition of a beautiful machine. Oh my God. It's just like why would you want to use another Batmobile in a movie? This would be if I made my own Batman movie and they're like, how do you want to design the Batmobile? I'm like, just use the 89 Batmobile, man. That one was perfect. I don't know why you'd want to use a different Batmobile. And they've done some good Batmobiles since 1989. You know, like I liked the Batman Forever Batmobile with the ribs and everything. I thought that one was really cool looking. You know, I liked the Tumbler, you know, for what it was. You know, I liked the Ben Affleck Batmobile. That one was pretty cool. But none of them compared to this one. Like, the only Batmobile I can think of I like anywhere near as much as this one is the 1966 one, which I just have so much nostalgia attached to. And probably more nostalgia than any other Batmobile except for this one. Oh, man, it's so cool. They did such a good job with this. Look at it from that angle. Like, that's a Batmobile. That's what the Batmobile looks like. That's what the Batmobile is. Like, you can't mistake that for anything else. If you'd never seen a Batmobile in your entire life and didn't even know what a Batmobile was, imagine if you somehow knew who Batman was, but you don't know what a Batmobile is. And I showed you a picture of this and be like, hey, do you know whose car that is? You'd be like, that's got to be Batman's car. Like, I heard Batman had a car, but I've never seen it. Well, yeah, that's what it looks like. Can you say that about this thing? Honestly, can you say that no, this is Dominic Toretto's Dodge Charger. That's what that is. This is the Batmobile. This is the Batmobile. So any of you people out there that are sick of me like giving the Robert Pattinson movie crap, never forget what they took from you. This is the Batmobile. This is what a Batmobile ought to look like. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. What's your favorite Batmobile? It could be your favorite Batmobile toy, your favorite Batmobile in live action, which I've just mostly been talking about the live action ones. I haven't even talked about various Batmobiles from the comics or the animated versions. Maybe the BTAS Batmobile, that first one from the first season, that kind of blocky sort of Batmobile. Maybe that's your favorite. Maybe you like the 1950s Batmobile with the big bubble canopy and the big fin and the big bat head on the front. I know that Brian Bolland made that thing look just dark and really cool in his Killing Joke graphic novel. That one was really cool. I like the Superpowers Batmobile. I think I touched on that one a little bit. That's Probably my favorite toy of the Batmobile is the Superpowers Batmobile, and that was pretty much an original design. It was kind of loosely based on how they were drawing the Batmobile in the comics at the time, but they put their own sort of flair onto it. So, personally, my two favorite Batmobiles, like I mentioned before, it's the 1966 and the 1989. Like nothing can really compare to those two. Those two are perfect. So I'm really happy with this toy and to finally have it in my collection. So took me a while to finally be able to get around to it, but man, it's beautiful, and I I don't think I could be happier with this thing. Even with the flaws that I pointed out, maybe if they fixed some of those things, it might make it better. But still, just holding this thing in my hand, it's like it just takes me back to 1989, and this is in this old geek's opinion, this is what a Batmobile ought to be. So we will talk to you next time. Bye.